Okay, I wanted to do a quick little video on an order I made on Shapeways. For those of you familiar with my Big Delta printer, it has a special feature where it can actually suspend the bed off of the actual printing belt and then move the bed to a different location. And what I use is these little levers on each of the corners of the bed to grab onto the belt. So this is a 3D printed part that has a little GT2 belt through it that will actually grab onto the actual printer belts, and then at that point the bed will be suspended onto the belts. Now I always thought it'd be like a fun idea to see if I can actually have this done in metal. Now I'd love to have my own metal shop, but I don't have the machines to do this accurate work. So I figured I was going to give Shapeways a try, because Shapeways will pretty much print anything that you send them in a model. The one thing that this was kind of an experiment, because I figured I wasn't sure if this would actually work. Now today the part arrived. I did this in steel. That was the cheapest metal available. Unfortunately, now that it has arrived, I find that it is not very dimensionally accurate. So as you can see at first glance, the model looks exactly the way it's supposed to. Now these walls are very thin, so there's a little bit of an indentation here, but that is not really that much of a problem. The two things that are kind of off on this design, I'm going to try to show it, is that these little ridges here that are supposed to grab onto the belt seem to be kind of flattened as opposed to round in the model itself. If we look at the model here, these are, round shaped teeth. These seem to be a little bit flattened off. I hope this focuses okay. So I don't know what the gripping strength of this would be on the belt, but the biggest problem on this design is that these are supposed to fit two little bearings, and these bearings are 9mm in diameter, and if we actually look at the exact diameter, it's 8.98. Let me do that so it actually is oriented. Actually, yeah, so it's it's fairly accurate, close to 9mm. Unfortunately, let me again do it oriented for the camera. The actual dimensions in the order part are too far off. So it's about a 0.35mm off from the actual design that was sent in. So the model here, if we look at the diameter here for the model, that is actually, let me see if I can show it on the inspect. The diameter is 9mm, and it came back as 8.65. So now the interesting thing is, if you actually look on Shapeway and you search for dimensional accuracy, there is actually very little information that I can find on that. I did find at some point on their forum, there is apparently an announcement talking about when you do it in steel, there is a 5% accuracy, or deviation of what the actual dimension is, and 5% of 9mm is actually 0.45mm. So they are within the specs that they claim they are. I wish they would make that more clear when you order the parts, because this little piece does cost me about $40. So and if it had been exactly to spec, I would have been fairly pleased with that, but it's not the spec, and as a matter of fact, it's not useless, because it can probably widen this hole through some method and get the rails in, but that you have to be aware of when you order from Shapeways. Chat with one of their salespeople to make sure that they can promise you the accuracy that you're looking for, because clearly this right now will not fit my solution. I will not be able to get these bearings in unless I actually go in with tools and remount this hole myself. But beyond that, it's actually pretty neat. It's a lot of money, so I've kind of always steered away from ordering from Shapeways, but The ordering process was easy. The materials I choose, again, I chose steel because it was actually cheaper than, I believe, aluminum was. So, but again, the accuracy is something to be aware of when you order from them. So I just wanted to point that out. So, came out pretty neat. I'm still going to try to remount this hole and see if I can get the bearings in and maybe put this in the printer, or just keep it as a keepsake. But so there you have it. This is my first order from Shapeways, and again, they're not. I should have, I couldn't find the fine print. If I'd known the fine print, I would have known that this would have not been dimensionally accurate. But beyond that, it's pretty neat that, like, anybody could theoretically, design something in CAD and then get a metal piece back without having to get all the metal machining equipment. All right, I just wanted to put this out there because it's, I know a lot of people look at Shapeways and it's they're not cheap, but they deliver. I just wish it had been more information on the accuracy. All right, that's it. If you like a video like this, please subscribe so that you'll see my next videos coming out. The next video that I'll be putting out is actually, and I'm going to point over to this as a sneak preview, but I have ordered the electronics for the FDL3 Nerf blaster, and so that's what I will be building next.